Hello and welcome to my third Python tutorial. Sorry I couldn't make one sooner, I just didn't get around to it. But anyway, this tutorial will be about counted loops. And so counted loops, they repeat a block of code a certain amount of times. And variables take sequences, take the attributes of a sequence. It's easier to explain by showing. So a counted loop in Python is represented by the for loop. So for variable, or you use I usually, if you just want a sequence, because I is usually not designated to any other variable, and then we put the in, and then our sequence. And so if we want a sequence of 10 numbers, we want range 10. And so what this is going to do is it's going to give the variable I the attributes of every number from 0 to 9. And now the body of the loop, it is where all the block of code goes, so it will be repeated 10 times, but I is going to have a different value each time. So we're going to put print I. So we get 0, 1, 2, 3 all the way through 9. And range 10, it starts, whenever you have a list or a sequence, it always starts at 0 and then goes up to and not including the number you put in. So now more on to more complex stuff. One of the things you have to know is that giving a variable to equal to itself and something else is a legal statement, meaning that Python won't crash when it comes upon it. So if we put x to equal 10, then x should equal 10, alright. X equals x plus 5, so x will equal 15 now. This is important for loops because because you change the different variable if it's not a range 10 thing, or a range function if you have a sequence of different things. So I've typed up this function so you don't have to see me typing it already. So this function, it adds up numbers, any list of numbers that you put in. So r equals 0. This is important as the x equals x plus 15 because we're going to add itself together so that it has a different value every single time that we do it. And the variable and the parameters, as we discussed, or arguments in the last tutorial for functions, this is the argument, and this little star before it means that we don't know how many of the arguments we'll get. It's just we know that we're going to get one or more arguments to our function. So if we put no arguments, we just get 0, because empty arguments will, it means it's going to put 0. So if we separate two numbers by commas, 23, 34, I is taking the value of every single thing. So I is 23, and now I is 34, and r equals 0, and I is just generating a random list of, not a random list, the sequence of arguments that we put in, and r plus means r plus everything previous to it is equal to I, return r, so we get the sum of these two things. In my previous tutorial, I showed this convert.py program which converts Celsius to Fahrenheit, and so I put a loop in it so it does it 5 times. So it generates a list of 5 numbers, and I takes the value of it, and this executes the code 5 times. So if we run it, enter degrees Celsius here, 34, 65. It ran 5 times because we had a loop that told it to do 5 times with a for loop. The other kind of loop is a while loop. So while one condition is happening, then it will execute the code again and again. This can also lead to an infinite loop, meaning it keeps going forever and ever and ever and ever if you just left your computer on. Or you can make it so it's counted also. While could set a variable to be greater than 10, we print this is a while loop. If we execute this, sorry, let's set the value of b. B is equal to 0. So if we have this and we press enter now, or enter twice, it'll just keep printing this is a while loop, this is a while loop, this is a while loop, and in some cases you want an infinite loop, and in some cases you don't. Now we have to make it so it only does it a certain amount of times. After it says this is a while loop, b is equal to b plus, plus 1. Oops, I didn't put, hey, what happened? Alright, I got it worked out. I put the wrong symbol. While b is less than 10, we do this. Now, print. If we put b equals 0, it'll always equal 0, and then I'll do b plus 1, and then I'll go back to this and make b plus 0 again. I forgot you have to put b equals 0 outside of it, so that it doesn't do that, and it's not an infinite loop. Oops. So while loop, b equals b plus 1. And it didn't work again. How sad. B equals 0. Work this time. Grr. There we go. Alright. So printed, this is a while loop, this is a while loop, this is a while loop 10 times. That's about it for while and for loops. You can see that for loops and while loops are better in different situations and different functions depending on what you want to do. Generally, the for loop is better for the simpler functions, and the while loop, well, the while loop, it's used for, the while loop is good for changing a sequence. So if we have while this, Alright, I typed it up quickly, so you didn't have to watch me type. Now, we kind of reverse the order, and b is equal to b plus 1 first, and then we have, this is a while loop, and b is equal to b. Every time this executes, b will equal 1, b will equal 2, b will equal 3. I'm just not having luck with while loops. Oh no, that's sad. I don't like while loops. Alright, there we go. This is a while loop, and b is equal to 1, b is equal to 2, 3, 4, so on and so forth. And you can use variables and this kind of combination to change strings and information greatly, but that's about it for this tutorial, and I will see you next tutorial.